committee.
Hi, George. Good morning.
And Fruit Nikimbeg is with us, and
George, good morning.
he was going to talk something about, as he usually does, always does, about what's happening in Cameroon, excuse me. And Rich Demers is with us, and he's going to talk about 911 week. So you're on the board, aren't you, Lefroux, of the LTC?
Yes, I'm on the board of, I serve on the board of the LTC, I serve on the board of Lowell Charter Public School, and I also serve on the board of Lowell General Patient Advocacy Board.
Gee, you haven't time for anything, do you?
This is my community. They do so much for me, and I always love to give back.
But you...
Which charter school are you a board member of?
The Lowell Community.
Lowell Community down on Middlesex Street?
No, on Jackson Street.
Jackson Street, yeah.
Jackson Street, yes. We'll be glad if all that discussion is putting the interests of the students above anything else, because whatever thing we aspire is to create a better future for better Americans.
Okay.
I just look at it as Fru says. It's best for the kids. It gives the kids an alternative. It gives the parents an alternative to look at, and it is a public school. And I think, in my opinion, we are fortunate because we've had a good relationship.
I really agree with what Jerry is saying, but I believe good things come through good information and discussion. If only people are educated of the benefits of both sides, you will see that in the end, everyone will agree that it's really to put the best interest of the students, and looking forward to creating a more viable, more competent, and more a solid school system for all our kids.
And so, therefore, every kid at the charter school is getting a public school education in a different form, but still a public school education. But I don't think a lot of people understand that. I think they're separate, like Lowell Catholic is separate. I don't think they realize that it's a public school. But Drew, let's get to what's happening in Cameroon. Educate me again. You're immigrated from, was it northern or southern Cameroon?
No,
Eastern or western?
Well, I immigrated from the British Cameroon.
Okay.
To Cameroon. It's good we put it that way. When you say the British Cameroon and then the French Cameroon.
I know you don't like the French Cameroon.
Not that I don't like the French Cameroon. What I say is I am a child of both Cameroons, because I grew up in both Cameroons.
All right.
Cameroonians love themselves. We Cameroonians, we love ourselves, but it is the leadership that is the problem. And I would really want that the world should understand that when I talk about the problems in Cameroon, it's really the leadership for over 50 years. It's only one government, one leader that has actually oppressed both people from the French side and people from the English side. But what I would really want...
Well, who you're calling an oppressor is the leader of the French Cameroon, right?
The leader of the French Cameroon, because you are very right, because English Cameroon came into a union in 1953. That was the first country in Africa that had multi-party system. And the U.S. in 1961 voted at the UN alongside 64 other countries for the English Cameroon to have its independence. But because Britain, who was the colonial master of the English Cameroon, and it will be clear also to state that Cameroon initially was colonized by the German, but when the Germans lost the First World War, Cameroon was put on the trusteeship of the French and the English by the League of Nations and then the UN. So the English part of Cameroon, since Britain had Nigeria and the English part of Cameroon, they administered Nigeria and British part of Cameroon, but the British part of Cameroon was not well treated by the Nigerians. In 1953, they walked out of the Nigerian parliament and formed their own country and had their own prime minister, legislature and everything. The French Cameroon, governed by the French, in 1st January 1960, they got their independence and became the Republic of Cameroon. Then in 1961, English Cameroon was supposed to have its independence. independence, but there was only two options. Either you get your independence by joining Nigeria, which is already an English colony, or you get your independence by joining French Cameroun, which was already independent and have the name of the Republic of Cameroon. So English Cameroon, since they had a bad experience with Nigeria, they opted to join French Cameroon to form a Federal Republic of Cameroon, and the name changed from the Republic of Cameroon to a Federal Republic of Cameroon, and the flag changed from green, red, yellow to green, red, yellow with two stars representing both Cameroons.
So both Cameroons have the same representative at the United Nations?
No, when they came to that federation, they became one Cameroon. Like the United States has 50 states.
Okay, all right.
So they're represented by one.
So there's only one vote in the United Nations coming from Cameroon.
Yes, one vote.
French and English Cameroon.
French.
One country.
One country. But there was no treaty signed, no union treaty signed. It was just, I would say, like a marriage of convenience to see if they would really, if it would work. And that both of them would maintain their two systems of education, two systems of legal, of law, the common law in English Cameroon, and then the civil law practiced by the French Cameroon.
So now, is there one group that are rebels and want to leave? Yeah.
Well, when you say rebels, I would not say that. I would just say that if you have twins, it means you need to take care of them and listen to their complaints. If they bring their grievances to you, you being the father, you should be able to listen to them. That is what, for 50 years, the English Cameroon has been marginalized. They are 20% of the population, almost around 10 million people, and the national GDP, 65% of the gross of the national GDP come from the English side of it. So the French government has taken all the resources and the government. So the English part said, no, we are marginalized in this union. What do we do? And then in November, with a lot of requests for dialogue, there's no dialogue. November 30th, 2017, the president declared war on the English side. It's like you have twins, you just decided to be abusing the other one and declare.
So there's a war now going on.
There has been a war going on now for over, it's almost 2 years and 2.5 years. John has some graphic images there. Now what the government is doing, the government thought that they would really, within 2 weeks, they were going to kill and overtake the English Cameroon and declare independence. But it's been going on. These are people who never had an army. They never had a trained army. The government, first of all, went into their areas and took all their hunting rifles, farming tools, and disarmed them completely. But since the government came in, we're killing the parents, killing youths, burning houses and burning people alive, burning hospitals, destroying all the infrastructure. They only have to defend themselves. When you're in your house, someone comes in and started killing you and your family, what do you have to do? You have to stand up and defend yourself. So for 2 years now, it's very difficult. The government finds out that the international community is coming to see that what they did was wrong, and that they attacked a civilian, innocent people. They are fighting over, and a well-trained army is now committing a lot of atrocity, burning people alive. There's a video there that John will show you. It's very, very horrible, very difficult to watch. And there we are at this point.
Okay, John, are you going to show us?
Yeah, well, just tell everybody that if you get any kids, this is very graphic stuff.
So the government is just
young people being killed by
of the youths, because the youths are the future of British Cameroon. The government disguised military like civilians, because they know that when they come like civilians, they have been taking their pictures and showing that this is the church. This is the house of God. Where else can you really go and get peace? See, the army is outside shooting. See how they are dogging under the pews? I mean, it is horrible out reach out and extend and send a word of gratitude to Lower Telecommunication, because last Friday they welcomed the lead attorney of the leader of the English-speaking Cameroon, who is now in jail in Nigeria, the leader of the British Cameroon.
Wait a second, I gotta interrupt you. How is the person in jail now? And was he here at LTC or?
Oh yeah, he came in 2007. He visited Lowell.
Okay.
He was received by city manager.
All right. Okay.
Murphy and Councilman Rodney Elliott. But the lead attorney who's defending them.
Okay.
In Nigeria, in court, that they are in prison in Cameroon, was here, visited Lowell.
Why is the court in Nigeria?
No, Nigeria is a country. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, because when they were being persecuted in Cameroon, they flee to Nigeria and filed for asylum. The government of Cameroon secretly went in there and kidnapped them.
Okay.
And flew them to Cameroon. Even Nigeria is on the hot seat now for allowing the government of Cameroon to come into their territory and kidnap people who had filed for asylum. And that's really violating international law. So the lead attorney was here and he was interviewed at Lower Telecommunication and it was broadcast live on Facebook, and I really want to use this opportunity to express my gratitude and thanks to the staff at Lower Telecommunication, and also to thank Lowell, because Lowell is a sister city with Bamenda since November 5th, 2002, and His Royal Majesty King Wafo III of Mancon in Bamenda had visited Lowell on 2 occasions. So that's why Lowell is very passionate and supportive for the people of British Cameroon. And Lowell was the first city that passed a resolution overwhelmingly voted at City Hall to condemn the atrocity in Cameroon, and BBC News picked on that and just informed the whole world.
Well, what do you hope to accomplish, and how are you going to accomplish it? By your actions like getting publicity from other places, City Life and so on. What do you hope to get done?
Well, I believe that the power of the people is more important than the people in power.
All right.
Once the people understand around the world, whoever knew that the dictator in Sudan, al-Bashir, would be toppled. Over last week he was toppled. People rose up, international community awareness, they put pressure on him. So it's the same thing. The Undersecretary, the U.S. Undersecretary of Africa, already in Cameroon has, on Thursday, was on the air saying that what happened in Sudan, Cameroon, the world attention is focused on Cameroon. The president of French Cameroun, he has been back to go to Switzerland. So international community is actually seeing the atrocities that he is committing, and eventually war crimes will be levied on the government.
Well, I think I asked you this when you were on an earlier day. France has a vote in the UN Security Council, so the UN's not going to do much, if anything, right?
Well, the UN, that's why I said that the power of the people is more important than the people in power.
All right.
When once Americans see all these graphic images, when you kill someone somewhere, people, mostly Americans and the Western world, when they say it is inhuman, when once they start rising up and holding their leaders accountable, these are the leaders who represent them at the UN. So France and those backing, when once the French people and the people around the world start putting the pressure, that's when changes come.
Okay, but I mean, and I'm just clarifying it for myself. You've been involved in it a lot, but the Nigerian government is where this attorney operates out of, and then you've got the French Cameroon that apparently is the leader in their view of the whole area. And then you have English Cameroon, that is not a country, but you are basically claiming independence for English Cameroon, correct?
No, it's not that I'm claiming independence, restoration, because even the British government, they are now realizing that they would have stood up for British Cameroon and had its independence, because in the book, even at the UN, there are two, the land, they have international boundaries. Okay, just to clarify what you're saying, when French Cameroon celebrated in 2010, when they celebrated 50 years of independence, the Secretary General of the United Nations brought two, as a present, to give the president, two flags and two maps, the French Cameroon map and the English Cameroon map. That is to remind him that you are celebrating 50 years of French Cameroon, not 50 years of English Cameroon. So that is very, very symbolic. That's very, very symbolic that these were two different Cameroons. Because like I mentioned, you started with the Republic of Cameroon, then you came with the Federal Republic of Cameroon. That's two countries. And then today, the French Cameroon president unilaterally changed the name of the country to Republic of Cameroon. Means they are the one who actually violated and broke out of that union. So in a sense, we should not even be discussing, because French Cameroon went back to rename the country Republic of Cameroon. Therefore, British Cameroon is not part of that country, because the name has changed from Federal Republic of Cameroon with a map with green, red, yellow with two stars showing that there's a French Cameroon and there's British Cameroon. The French Cameroon was a Republic of Cameroon, but the name of the country now has reverted to the Republic of Cameroon. Means the current president who was there when they created that union has usurped and politically maneuvered to assimilate British Cameroon, but by so doing, he has taken French Cameroon out of he has broken the agreement and taken French Cameroon out and made English Cameroon independent.
Okay, but some people are going to say, the French Cameroonians are going to say, you broke off. You're like the South in the United States' Civil War. That you basically want your own country and you really aren't part of the country.
If they say we broke up, then it goes back from the very beginning, because you had two Cameroons that came to a union. It was not a war. That's why on November 30th, French Cameroon president waged a war so that he will win the English Cameroon and then subjugate them and tell the international community that I have conquered them at war. He thought that he was going to do that within 2 weeks. These were people that he had already destroyed, the British Cameroon standing army, destroyed their bank, looted everything, tried to change their educational system. But for 2.5 years now, people who had no weapon, they have stood up. And it goes without saying that you can have the world's might, but you cannot conquer the people who are willing to defend their territory.
What's your goal? Who do you want to do something? Can Jerry Nutter do anything? Can Rich Demers do anything? Can George Anthos do anything? Can John McDonough do anything?
Oh, George, that's a wonderful question. Just talking about it, we can call Elizabeth Warren. We can call Senator Ed Markey. We can call our Congresswoman Lori Trahan. I have met with our former Congress lady Nikki Songas. We've met with Congress Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Ed Markey. They have written letters to the Secretary of State, Senator Chuck Schumer, the minority leader in the Senate, and senators all around the country had, even at the Congress, they even presented a bill discussing about Cameroon, and America is already taking steps. The U.S. withdrew 300 military trainers to Cameroon. Last month, the U.S. withdrew 70 million aid that they are sending to the government. Now you see that the international community is beginning to act. They are saying that the government is unjustified. And for people who don't even know, there was a recent election conducted in the French Cameroon. This current president lost overwhelmingly, even though he declared that he won. So he's a contested leader right now within the French Cameroon. So things are really not working on him. It's just a matter of when. Like what happened in Sudan, nobody knew that Bashar would be gone, but he is gone. And even the dictator in Algeria too was forced out of power. So in Cameroon, this guy has been there since, he's the oldest ruling African leader now. He's been there since 1982. So his time is really up.
But again, and I know I'm repeating myself, I guess you could say 1,000 points of light or something like that, that it all gets together to maybe lead to a different result. But
so I think Fru's point is the more that he informs people and the more that we talk about it, as you said, it's like 1,000 points of light. The more people that get the message, that understand what's going on, the more that they can react by reaching out and getting more people involved in contacting the Congress, and then the Congress, the United States starts getting other countries involved and, topple the dictatorship that's going on over there.
You're very right, Jerry, but like what I'm saying is lower the people of Cameroon could not I'm saying the people of Cameroon, that's the people of French and English Cameroon. Like I said, this is a clique. It's the leadership would not really be very, very happy with Lowell. The reason I say that is what Lowell and what City Life Show is doing is having a lot of impact in Cameroon and around the world. John will even tell you that he receives negative calls, pressure calls, and threatening calls from Cameroonians, even LTC. And then if that is happening, you know that people who are coming, who are calling this...
Jerry, they get this guy calls me up, right, and he asks for me, he's very polite, and then once he realizes it's me, he starts yelling at me. Who do I think I am? And you better watch out. I say, hey, buddy, this is America. We have no worries here. Come get me. And
so that's
a very, very angry man. And it was an international call. So I don't know who it was, but he was very angry at this.
So that these surrogates of the government, if that is happening, that shows that what City Life is doing is having a very major impact. And it is just to underscore what you are saying, that what can we do? The City Life, lower telecommunication, the City Council, all that proclamation. When once the City Council votes a proclamation condemning abuse happening thousands of miles against people that they don't even know, just because we are united by that sister-city relationship, then BBC picks it up and it calls people in Cameroon and interviewing them, call Cameroonians around the world interviewing them. It really puts Lower on the map, and I'm so glad that I am a Lowellian.
now, is there a Cameroonian shop or group like in Lowell, a formal group? Okay. But Cameroon is Africa.
No. Cameroon is a country in Africa.
Yes.
Africa is a continent. Ghana is a country. But Cameroon is a country in Africa. So all the Africans, they are in support of Cameroonians and also hate what is going on. They want peace to reign. But to answer your point, yes, the Cameroonian community in Lowell is very organized and is even one of the most organized African community, because in 1992, the Cameroonians, we are the first African group to formally to create an organization called Cameroonians of Lowell Association. We are the only one that we have been participating at Lowell Folk Festival and volunteering around the city. So we are very united. And then when you hear about the Cameroonians of Lowell, it's not only from English Cameroon. These are Cameroonians from French Cameroon as well as English Cameroon. So that's why I mentioned here that it is really a clique, a leadership a problem that has actually caused this rift.
Does the government of Nigeria support the clique?
Well, to answer your question, if the government of Nigeria was not supporting, the government of Nigeria would not have hosted the leadership there. Right now, there are almost about 350,000 to getting to 1 million refugees in Nigeria, and that's really causing a lot of human disaster there. And Nigeria has been very, very supportive to take these refugees and also give home to the fleeing English British Cameroonians.
So is there a Nigerian community in Lowell?
There's a large Nigerian community.
And there's a Cameroonian community. Do you get along, the groups?
The last Friday when the lead attorney was here, Ben Opara from Nigeria was in the crowd. Gordon from Ghana was there. Me, who is the president of the African Cultural Association, of which I was president for until 2011, were there. There were Cameroon, the African from Kenyans were also there. So it's.
So there's camaraderie between the African countries that are citizens or former citizens who are in Lowell.
Yes, and that could also be manifested in the fact that we have an African festival here that brings all of us here, and the next African festival will be in June, and it's always the second weekend of June. So it shows that even though there are the 54 countries in Africa, Africans here, we consider ourselves one, like family together. That's why we created the African Cultural Association, of which it's an umbrella association that brings all of us Africans together. And we manifest that by also bringing our rich culture to share it with the people of Lowell by celebrating the African festival. I mean, I would say that in all the 54 countries in Africa, you will see that majority are really represented here in Lowell.
Well, is there any final things you want to tell the public before you take off?
Well, the most important thing that I want to tell Lowell and the public is that, I mean, we are very, very blessed to be in a city like Lowell. Lowell, to me, I always say that Lowell is the United Nation of cities. That if you really want to travel around the world in 7 days, come to Lowell, because you would have tasted a dish from a country that you would never visited. You would have met someone from a continent, a country that you would never go there. And that riches comes and make Lowell what we are. Then our diversity is our strength, and Lowell is, I mean, there is no city in the state of Massachusetts that is as rich in cultural diversity like Lowell. And I would not be very proud.
Of course, what I could say to you now, Fru, is, and I will say it, but you don't have time to answer it, is then if it's so great, why would some people want to change the government of Lowell, the structure? Why a lawsuit in federal court?
Because this is an America. There's nothing carved in stone. As we breathe every day, we get up and see the sun. Darkness means there's always changes. But then until you test different things and see what you don't see, for every coin there are two sides of the story. You need to let both sides shine.
But that's why I'm hesitant to bring up the other side of your argument, because when I see those, what do you call them, thumb sketches or thumbnails, or what do you call that you bring in thumb drives? Okay, shows my ignorance.
George, but that's wonderful. But when you say you are hesitant to see the other side of the story, it doesn't sound Americans, because Americans are the ones who bring both sides of the story and let it manifest. So this is the only country in the world that can only happen. The other side is in a dictatorship like in Africa and all those other places who would want but their own way or no other way.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in so often and giving us the update.
Thank you very much, and I really appreciate the support that City Life Show is providing. And as I always said, John, thank you very much, and everyone. And that City Life Show is more or less the CNN of for us.
Okay, I don't know whether that's an insult or a compliment. Okay.
No, I meant to say City Life Show is the CNN and Fox News for us.
Sorry, I just couldn't resist it. I have my own values here, nothing to do with values in Africa. I'm just saying that although some people would say we have worldwide values, and we should have worldwide values, but
I'm going to take you.
Go on.
I'm going to say goodbye. Good luck with your new job today. And happy motoring. I hope your wipers are working great today, buddy.
Thank you very much.
And we'll get you
see you soon. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.